Thanks, John Eric.
Yeah.
Joe Kubala's had a lot of really interesting experiences. And I asked him if he would share with us a little bit about what it's been like to actually do recording production work all the way out to quad DSD. Joe?
Hi, everybody. Well, I just wanted to, you mentioned single DSD and double DSD. Yeah. In terms of being a hobbyist and an audiophile, one of the things I tried to do at some point, in fact, it was for the Rocky Mountain show maybe 3 years ago, was instead of bringing a turntable, really do like the sound of analog, and instead of bringing a turntable in the setup or whatever, we decided to do needle drops, if you will. We decided to record albums and come here and just on a Korg MR2000, playback, recorded analog. Well, we tried it in 2496, we tried it in 24176, we tried it in single DSD, and we tried it in double DSD. And, you know, they're all good. 2496 sounds good, and 24176 sounded better. DSD sounded really good, and there's just something different to me about what I heard in the flow and the pace or whatever of the music that's just different than PCM. It's not about, at that point, signal-to-noise ratios or frequency response numbers or what. It's just the feel of the music is different. And then double DSD to me was just flat out another world. It was very different than single DSD in terms of that feel and that flow and the rise time of notes being played. It just had the same feel to me as the analog itself. And just playing off, I'll just take one step further. I also got involved in recording, and last year Dominique lent some equipment to Blueport Jazz when we were doing a recording at SoCo University, and recording in quad DSD and listening to that playback through my analog desk or whatever was just another revelation. So DSD is easy to work with in a sense for us as audiophiles because we're typically not worried about the mixing, and we're sort of just archiving, or we're giving ourselves, like we were trying to do, the ability to take our music with us somewhere. And for that, I don't think there's an equal, anything in the PCM world, to my ears at least, for that. Now, in terms of my recording experiences, I don't have the breadth of recording experiences as these gentlemen, but I've had some fun recording. I tried to get closer to the music, if you will, and so I started attending more live concerts, and then I hooked up with Blueport Jazz, and I became the gopher, and just did whatever needed to be done during recording sessions, and then began to do my own recording sessions. And so I've recorded multi-track in PCM and Pro Tools and that kind of things, and I've recorded direct to two-track, live to two-track kind of mixes, which Jared seems to favor. And after you've done it and you've nailed it, there's nothing better than that. And I've also done reel-to-reel tape recordings. I've tried different approaches to things. And as one example, by the way, of comparing maybe some of these technologies, a live to two-track recording, analog desk, one set of outputs going to a 2496 recorder, another set of outputs going to a reel-to-reel tape deck, and then just out of the back of the reel-to-reel tape deck going to a Korg MR2000 with another backup to double DSD. So the intent was to use 2496 to create some CDs and to use a reel-to-reel tape to do a pressing. Well, Reel 2 got messed up. We were working with this, and Reel 2, we lost it. Could maybe work with the 2496, but that just didn't feel the same as the reel-to-reel recordings. Maybe we can take this double DSD and use it. We had literally the same mix, through it. So eventually we played around with a few things and took a new blank reel of tape and re-recorded from the double DSD back to the real tape to create tape 2 again. And I'll tell you, you can listen to tape 1 and to tape 3, and you can't tell the difference on tape 2, that anything different was done. That proved the technology to me. So we've been having fun with this, been doing more and more recordings in DSD. Did the quad DSD recording last year, have done 14-track double DSD recordings, but then instead of using a computer to do the mix or the EQ, just treated those like they were the 2-inch 24-track kind of device that Jan was talking about, and just pretended they were tape, basically, and took the output through an analog desk, through analog devices, and back to a double DSD master track. And so when I don't feel I can trust myself to do a live to 2-track, that's what I try to do. Anyway, those are my experiences with DSD.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that. By the way, I really wish that Jim Marod could be here, too. We're going to try at the show Newport Beach next year. We're going to try, no promises, but we're going to try to do some actual quad DSD playback of the recordings that he did, jazz recordings at Soka, that are, they induce spiritual experiences, big time. We're going to try to do that so that we can do a panel, but then you can actually go and listen. Listen to quad for yourself and hear it, because that's what makes all the difference.